All right, so are you ready to dive into this stack of articles about Asia's 10 richest people in 2025?
Let's do it. These lists of billionaires, they're always fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just about like who has the most zeros in their bank account, right?
It's about understanding the forces that are shaping Asia's economy and the stories of these self-made titans who are leading the charge.
Exactly. It's like a glimpse into the future of global business. And what really jumps out at you when you look at this list? What's the big takeaway?
Well, the first thing that hits you is the sheer dominance of individuals from China and India.
Right. It's like those two economic powerhouses are going head to head.
Exactly. And it's a testament to their incredible growth and the opportunities that exist in those markets.
And leading the pack, at least for now, is Mukesh Ambani from India with a net worth of $113.9 billion.
$113.9 billion. That's just mind-boggling.
Yeah, how do you even wrap your head around that kind of wealth? I mean, I know he built upon his father's legacy with Reliance Industries, but...
Right. He didn't just sit back and inherit the fortune. He strategically diversified into high-growth sectors.
Like telecom with Geo, right? That was a game changer.
Exactly. He saw the potential of connecting 1 billion people to the internet, and he made it happen. And then he expanded into retail with Reliance Retail Digital Services, with Geo platforms, even media and entertainment.
It's like he's playing 3D chess while everyone else is stuck on checkers. And speaking of extravagant moves, did you see that his house in Mumbai Antilia is valued at over $2.2 billion?
Oh yeah, that's a housewarming party I'd love to be invited to.
Right. But let's move on to another Indian tycoon who's made a name for himself, Gautam Adani. With a net worth of $60.4 billion, he's built an empire on infrastructure.
Yeah, and he's known for his aggressive strategy of vertical integration. I mean, he controls pretty much every step of the process in his chosen industries. Energy, resources, logistics.
So he's not just building bridges and power plants, he's basically owning the whole supply chain.
Exactly, and that gives him a huge competitive advantage.
But hold on a sec. Didn't Adani face some controversy a couple of years ago? Something about stock manipulation.
Yeah, there were allegations back in 2023, but the Supreme Court dismissed them in 2024. It's a reminder that even the most successful businesses can face challenges and scrutiny.
For sure. So let's hop over to China now and talk about Zhang Shanshan, who's sitting on a cool $52.2 billion. Now, this guy's story is interesting because he doesn't come from a wealthy family.
Not at all. He actually started out as a construction worker, then moved into journalism before making his fortune in a rather unexpected industry.
Bottled water?
Seriously.
Yeah, Nongfu Spring. It's now the biggest bottled water company in China.
So he basically turned H2O into liquid gold. That's impressive.
It is. And he's also the chairman of a major pharmaceutical company, Beijing Wantai Biological Pharmacy.
So diversification is clearly a theme here. These guys aren't afraid to spread their bets.
Not at all. All right, let's head down to Southeast Asia now, shall we? Yeah, let's meet Prajogo Pangestu, the wealthiest person in the region. With a net worth of $46.4 billion, he's got his fingers in a lot of pies.
Well, he started in the timber industry, but then made his fortune in petrochemicals and energy.
Okay, so not exactly the most environmentally friendly industries, but he's recently made a big push into renewable energy, right?
Yeah, he took his company, Burrito Renewables Energy, public in late 2023. So he's definitely trying to align himself with the global shift towards sustainability.
Smart move. So it seems like adaptability is another key trait among these billionaires. They're not afraid to change course when the winds shift.
Absolutely. And speaking of adapting to change, let's talk about Tadashi Yanai from Japan. He's the founder of Fast Retailing, better known as Uniqlo, and his net worth is $46.4 billion.
Oh, I love Uniqlo. Their heat tech line is a lifesaver in the winter. But how did he manage to turn his father's small clothing store into this global giant?
Well, he focused on offering high-quality basics at affordable prices. That mass market appeal really resonated with people.
Right, it's like the perfect balance of style and affordability. But they also have some pretty innovative products, like the heat tech line you mentioned.
Exactly. Those kind of innovations help them stand out from the competition, and they've been very strategic about their global expansion.
So it's like they found the sweet spot between mass appeal and unique offerings. That's a tough balance to strike.
It is, but they've done it brilliantly. Now let's talk about someone who truly understands the power of global reach. Zhang Yiming, the founder of ByteDance and the creator of TikTok.
Ah, TikTok, the app that's taking the world by storm. And his net worth?
A cool $45.6 billion.
Wow. I mean, TikTok's growth has been phenomenal. It was briefly the world's most valuable startup back in 2018.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that Zhang targeted a global audience right from the start. unlike many Chinese tech companies that focus on the domestic market first.
He understood the power of short-form video content and how it could transcend cultural barriers.
Absolutely. Now let's shift gears and talk about another self-made billionaire from India, Shiv Nadar.
This guy started HCL in his garage with just $2,300. Now he's worth $42 billion. Talk about a rags to riches story.
It's incredible, right? And he was one of the pioneers of the Indian IT industry.
He actually developed India's first personal computer.
Yeah, and HCL went on to become a major player in IT services globally. But what's really fascinating is that he got an early grant from the Uttar Pradesh government in exchange for a stake in the company.
So the government was basically an early investor in HCL.
Exactly. It was a gamble that paid off big time for both sides.
It's like a real-life example of how government support can fuel innovation. Okay, let's talk about another tech giant, Ma Huateng, also known as Pony Ma. He's the co-founder of Tencent Holdings, and his net worth is around $43 billion.
Yeah, and Tencent is like this massive ecosystem of digital products and services. They've got QQ messaging, online gaming, mobile payments, and of course, WeChat.
Oh yeah, WeChat. It's like the Swiss Army knife of apps in China.
Exactly. And Pony Ma's story is pretty amazing. He started out developing pager software for like $176 a month.
Wow, talk about humble beginnings.
Right. And now he's leading one of the most valuable tech companies in the world.
Okay, before we move on, I want to talk about Savitri Jindal and her family from India.
Ah, yes. Savitri Jindal is India's wealthiest woman with a net worth of $27.6 billion.
But she didn't inherit her wealth in the traditional sense.
No. She took over the OP Jindal Group after her husband passed away. And she's done an incredible job of growing the business.
And the family's combined net worth is estimated to be somewhere between $40 and $43 billion. That's a lot of Jindals.
It is. And each of her 4 sons now runs a different part of the conglomerate steel power infrastructure industrial gases.
It's like they've divided up the monopoly board and are each dominating their respective sectors.
All right. Last but not least, we have Li Ka-shing from Hong Kong.
Ah, Li Ka-shing, the Superman of Hong Kong.
This guy's story is like straight out of a movie.
Huh.
He fled to Hong Kong when he was 12, started working at 14, and built a $35.6 billion empire. A true rags to riches tale. He started out making plastic toys and flowers, then moved into real estate, and eventually built a global conglomerate with interests in everything from ports to retail to telecommunications.
It's like he's got a Midas touch. Everything he touches turns to gold. And he was also an early investor in Facebook and Spotify.
He's got a knack for spotting promising opportunities. Li Ka-shing retired back in 2018 at the age of 89.
89. That's incredible. So we've covered a lot of ground here, from bottled water to tech giants to infrastructure kings and everything in between.
Yeah, and it's clear that there's no single path to success in Asia. These individuals come from diverse backgrounds, operate in different industries, and have employed a variety of strategies.
But there are some common threads, right? Like diversification, strategic thinking, a willingness to adapt, and a relentless pursuit of growth.
Absolutely. And I think their stories offer valuable lessons for anyone who's aspiring to achieve great things.
Yeah, for sure. So let's dive deeper into some of those lessons and see what we can learn from the triumphs and maybe even the setbacks of these remarkable individuals. You know, it's amazing to see how these individuals each carve their own path to success.
Right. Yeah, there's no one-size-fits-all formula. It's about recognizing opportunities and having the vision and the guts to go after them.
Like Mukesh Ambani, he inherited a huge business, but he didn't just coast on that.
Right. He took calculated risks, diversified into new markets, anticipated trends. It's impressive.
And then you have someone like Zhang Shanshan, who basically created an entirely new market with bottled water. I mean, who would have thought?
Yeah, it's brilliant. He saw an unmet need, a desire for something more than just plain tap water, and he capitalized on it.
And he didn't stop there. He also owns a pharmaceutical company. I mean, talk about diversification.
He's not putting all his eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And it's something we see with a lot of these billionaires.
Right, like Tadashi Yanai with Uniqlo. He found that sweet spot between mass appeal and innovation.
It's exactly. High-quality basics at affordable prices, but with a touch of something special, like the Heat Tech line.
Yeah, that stuff is amazing. But it's not just about the products themselves. It's also about timing.
Oh, absolutely. Being in the right place at the right time, recognizing trends before they become mainstream.
Like Shiv Nadar with HCL. He saw the potential of the IT revolution early on, and he had the foresight to partner with the government.
Yeah, that early grant from the Uttar Pradesh government was a game changer. It showed that the government was serious about investing in technology.
And it gave Nadar the resources he needed to scale up his business. It was a win-win.
And it's interesting to see how some of these billionaires are adapting to the changing global landscape. I mean, sustainability is a huge issue these days.
Yeah, and it's not just about being green. It's about recognizing that sustainability can be a profitable business strategy.
Like Gautam Adani, with his investments in renewable energy. He's not just jumping on the bandwagon, he's making serious commitments.
And Prajogo Pengestu is doing the same with Burrito Renewables Energy. They're realizing that the future is green.
Absolutely. And it's not just about individual companies. It's about partnerships and collaborations.
Like Adani working with the Indian government on those massive infrastructure projects.
Right. He's using his expertise in vertical integration to become an indispensable partner.
It's like they understand that in today's world, you can't achieve great things in isolation. You need to build alliances.
And sometimes those alliances cross borders, like Tencent, with their investments and partnerships all over the world.
They're playing on a global chessboard.
Exactly. And they're not afraid to take risks. Li Ka-shing was an early investor in Facebook and Spotify.
Wow, he really had his finger on the pulse of the tech world.
He wasn't afraid to bet on companies that were still relatively unknown at the time, and it paid off big time.
So it's not just about working hard, it's about working smart, recognizing opportunities and having the courage to seize them.
And I think that's something we can all learn from these billionaires.
Absolutely. So we've talked about their business strategies, their ability to adapt, their willingness to take risks. But what about their legacy?
What will they be remembered for? How will they use their wealth and influence to shape the world around them? It's a big question.
Yeah, it's like they've reached the top of the mountain and now they're figuring out what to do with the view.
Right, and for many of them, it's about giving back. Shiv Nadar, for example. He's poured over $1 billion into his foundation, the Shiv Nadar Foundation.
Yeah, that's focused on education, right?
Exactly. And he's not just writing checks. He's deeply involved in the foundation's work, making sure it's making a real difference.
That's inspiring. I mean, it shows that he's not just focused on building businesses. He's thinking about the bigger picture.
And he's not alone. Li Ka-shing has also been a major philanthropist for decades, supporting healthcare education and research.
It's like they're using their business skills to tackle social problems.
Yeah, they're bringing that same strategic thinking and problem-solving approach to philanthropy.
And it's setting a great example for the next generation of entrepreneurs and business leaders.
Exactly. They're showing that success isn't just about making money. It's about making a positive impact on the world.
And it's happening all across Asia. We're seeing more and more billionaires stepping up to address issues like poverty, inequality, climate change.
It's like a ripple effect. With great wealth comes great responsibility, and they're taking that responsibility seriously.
Yeah, they're proving that you can be successful and make a difference at the same time.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the lives of Asia's top 10 richest, I think it's safe to say that we've learned a lot.
Yeah, their stories are inspiring and thought-provoking.
They've shown incredible resilience, adaptability, and a willingness to embrace change.
And they're using their wealth and influence to make the world a better place.
It's a reminder that we all have the power to make a difference, no matter what our background or circumstances may be.
We just need to have the courage to pursue our dreams and to use our talents for good.
Well said. And who knows, maybe one day we'll be doing a deep dive into your story.
Haha, I wouldn't mind that. But for now, thanks for joining us on the deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep digging deeper, keep asking questions, and keep exploring the fascinating world around us.